I'm a very big storyteller. That is why I'm always referring to my friends, my my my. Let me tell you. So anyway, before I tell you guys, I think I need to be growing my channel, and I can't do it alone. I've already done my part, so I need your guys' part on helping me on sharing my content and subscribing and just sharing so that people can have it, and then we can get up on the algorithms, and then let's see where we can land with that. So I want to tell you guys a story of when I was in campus. So when I got in campus, the first instinct was like, okay, when I went there with already the whole theory in my mind, because I had big brothers, friends from campus, so we'd always talk every evening, we talk about stuff, which is very interesting. So when I went to campus, I already knew actually everything that I was going to do there. Okay, that is just for me. I had laid out my plan when I was in Form 3. So I had laid out my plan. I knew what I was going to do. I knew a lot of things that I was going, because they were on paper, and most of them is still on paper today. I hope uko stable. Uko stable. Simama hivi. Hivi. Because I knew everything I was. Hapo iko fiti. Just me giving my amateur producer some namfundisha anyway. So I knew what I was going to do there. So when I first got to campus, my first instinct was, campus is the worst place for your daughter. I know that sounds a little bit ish, but that is what I found out. Campus was the worst place for your daughter. I don't know why. Because when I tell these stories in real life, most parents don't really know what's going on in those areas. But because when their kids come home, they're always good girls, good boys. Yeah, but then I chose the daughters because the women are the most vulnerable. And it's men who sometimes we put them in those vulnerable situations where they have to deal with a lot of things, even including drugs and a lot of things. Doesn't mean men are not victims, but that was the first instinct I had. I wanted to write a book about that, but ilikuwa story too. Story to our friend. So, but then I can tell a whole story of my campus life and the campus life that could fill a whole book. But then the problem is I don't know if it would be interesting to read. People these days don't like reading either way. So when I got there, I found people were naive. People didn't know what they wanted to do. People were just like, mimi hata sijui course yangu ni ya nini, let me just get into it. So we all got into it, but luckily mimi I got into what I liked, which was communication, and I've never regretted either way. So let me tell you guys my first experience. So we get into the campus. So we get there, week 1, we make friends, and then my friend comes up and comes in, and then we are just a week into, and then it's like, guys, I have my birthday. So we are excited, his birthday is coming up, so we're still living in the hostels. We didn't know, okay, maybe we knew and we assumed there was no smoking, there was no drinking, and there was no drugs and substance in the hostels. So we didn't know. So he gets a few drinks and maybe a cake, and then later a friend of mine had a friend, a girl, not a girlfriend, but a girl who was his friend. He brings her in, and I was not in the room when she was akiwasha. So I am from downstairs, nasikia there's somebody who is mtu amewasha mahali kwa hizi hostels, and I'm wondering ni wapi. So before I even go to the room, the security were at the doorstep. So wako hapo kwa doorstep, and then we like, what do we do now? You guys are going home. Now we are tensing, and I'm like, hey, you guys calm down. We have this under control. Letting kupiti. Yeah, we have this under control. So wakatugombanisha, and then they were like, write down your admissions and everything. You guys are going home, and I'm like, we have this under control. So the first week is there. We're already in trouble as a cube. not because we were bad boys or anything, but we were just in trouble because we had found ourselves in trouble. Not from my roommates, but then the person who was brought in had placed us in that situation. So we had to deal with it. So tumeandika majina, so I had to go down with them, and I had to tell my roommates, so you guys, if I go down, you guys have to changa. So we changa, and then I talk to them, and then they take the money. It's Kenya anyway. They take the money, and then everybody's like, I thought we were going home. But luckily we didn't go home. So we are there, we're having a good time, and we're enjoying, and campus life has just begun. But then I got there, and then I saw a business opportunity. Actually, it's something I had premeditated when I was in. See, I told you guys I had a book. I had premeditated when I was in Form 3 that whatever thing I'm going to go into campus doing, I already do. So I get there, I start doing my first business of shoes. I do the business for a while, and then me confidently I was a fresher then, continuing my fresher pia bado. Then I get into the room, and then I like this asking questions and playing with people's minds sometimes. So I asked them, which year do you think I am? And then they're like, hey, you're a phobia. I don't know if I looked old at that moment. Am I anything? You're a third year, you're a continuing student, you're too mature for that. Why are you hustling and you're a fresher? You still have money. But I'm like, at the back of my mind, I was afraid to begin, but then the first sale them, that gave me confidence. I was like, I want to do this business. It was very easy for us because we were in a rectangular kind of space. All four corners had rooms, and it was girls and boys in the same block, like five stories block. So it was easy to do business, especially me. I was doing business for ladies' shoes because sometimes it's very hard to sell for boys. And so we go into that, and then I start seeing what is happening and how people get influenced and how people do make their decisions. And I'm like, do I really want to do this? No, because I already came into this place with my own hardcore morals, values, and principles. I already knew what was going on. So it's not, I was exposed to these things at an early age, and I wasn't indulging in them. But then now I'm here, and then these people are coming from, it's like a flash. So they're coming from these backgrounds where they're like, for the first time, they want to have these experiences, they want to explore the world. And I'm coming up from a space where I had already explored the world. So I already know what is going on. So me and a few of my friends, we start off as, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to smoke, I'm not going to do drugs and alcohol. But then now we just go like that, first year, second year, third year. Oh, before we go to even those scenarios. So after first year tukiingia pia bado, there's something that happened, there was a strike. So the continuing students are indulging in strikes, people are fighting, chaos everywhere. Tumeka shule bana asubuhi until evening. We have not eaten. And I'm like, bro, we have to eat. So ka confidence yangu kadogo tu kananiambia, let me get a group of boys just to be safe. Niwaambie, situendeni lunch, tumekaa sana. So these boys follow me. So we go. Tumeenda nje ya gate, tukakula vizuri, and then tukamaliza kibandaski, kutoka hivi kwa barabara. Bro, polisi na wale makurutu wengine. Au makurutu wengine wakichapwa, people are dusty, wengine wako na matope, wengine wako na damu, wengine wamefura. So they take us, and we join the group. So communication, najiteteanga tu vizuri.